I swear to God, I have so much pop culture stuff that I need to reference. But I also like low-key can't remember. We had the VMAs. Nicki Minaj being absolutely fucking hilarious at the VMAs. Drake and SZA just announced a collaboration. I'm filming this on Thursday. It comes out tomorrow. Very excited for what the fuck that's gonna sound like. SZA teased SOS Deluxe aka Lana coming out in autumn. Excited about that. We've also had Guts come out by Olivia Rodrigo. My favourite song is obviously Bad Idea, right? It was my favourite since it dropped. But my second favourite is currently Lacey. Honestly, what else has been going on with the main pop girlies? Because so much shit's happened. Bongos. It's grown on me. At first I was like, bongos. But it's grown on me now. I do like it. Also, this spot on my forehead looks atrocious. It's September 14th and I'm only just filming this now. This is my July and August wrap up. So I'm filming it in the middle of September. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome back to whatever the fuck this is. I have been busy. I also didn't read much in July, so I was like, oh, I'll just link it. I'll just put it together with the August wrap up. And then I didn't have time in September to film this. I should have just done this in 2 parts and put it together, but I didn't, and I hate myself every day because of it. But here we are. I've already spoken too long about the main pop girlies. Let's talk about the books that I read. Spotlight by Kai Stevens. I usually, whenever I do wrap-ups, I like barely give anything. I barely say anything about the books that I've read because I'm a fucking reviewer and I also forget the plots of books. But today I've written a script on my phone about what these books are about, just like a really short summary. So if you see me looking to the side here, it's because I'm literally reading it, because I read this book in July. It's September. You can't expect me to have that much of a good memory. This is book 2 in the Coastal University series. We're following Kaya and Holden. They're like academic rivals right at the beginning of the book. They are both doing a presentation to try and get some like mentor to mentor them with the next part of their project, degree, whatever the fuck they have to do in university, you know the vibes. Kaya is very much a workaholic. She also finds it quite hard to shut off her brain, and it's kind of like a theme in the book that she doesn't really get a good night's sleep very often unless she is with someone, if you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, so much that her brain can shut off and she can go to sleep. She ends up doing it with Holden and she loves it, and he wants her to only do it with him. Wow. Which basically means it's also friends with benefits. So we've got college, we've got friends with benefits, we've got ice hockey. I actually did really enjoy it. It's not that memorable, but I know it wasn't bad. However, I do prefer book 1 in this series. Next I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is her 3rd adult romance, I think. Love Hypothesis, Love in the Brain, Love Theoretically. Yeah. I won't lie, I barely remember it, so you're gonna have to bear with me right here. It's another women in STEM romance, except the girl at the beginning of this book, I'm pretty sure she works in like, she like goes to different universities to do like speeches about physics. I'm pretty sure that's what she does. But then she also on the side works for this company to basically be a fake girlfriend. It's kind of like Tinder but for fake dating. It's so like far-fetched, and one of the like guys that she regularly fake dates, it's been so regular, it's gone on for a while, that like she's like met his family on multiple occasions. They know her, but they actually only know the version that she presents to them, which is this like really average woman. Basically she wants to be liked by everyone, so she molds her personality to suit who she's trying to impress, but she's actually this like really smart badass physician. So the guy that she's fake dating, his brother is like also really smart, and we don't know this at first, but we come to find out he also works in the physics industry. And when the girl who's called Elsie, when she applies for a job at this, I'm assuming it's a lab, I don't know, like science, you know, she wants to be working science, and so she applies for this job. She has to go to dinner with these like colleagues, and one of them happens to be Jack, who is the fake dating guy's brother. There's so much more than that. There's like a whole debate about like theoretical and practical or experimental physics. Who cares? I'm not smart enough to digest this information. It was fine, it wasn't memorable, but I had fun in the moment and I like it more than Love on the Brain. Let's move on to Mercy by Sarah Kay. I was terrified going into this book because Eyes on Me and Give Me More were flops, but this is my favourite book in the series so far. I love this book. I love this book so much. Maggie is like the co-founder of the Salacious Club, and one of the things that this club offers is they have an app where you can like fill out a questionnaire, and it's supposed to match you with people who have compatible kinks. So she does the questionnaire, turns out she's a dom, and then Bo, who is the son of another co-founder, forbidden kind of age gap, that's what it's giving. Also, if you read Praise, it's the guy in Praise's son. Bo's the guy in this book. He also does this questionnaire. I don't know why he does it. I think he's either bored or his friends just tell him to, but he doesn't want to because he knows that obviously his dad owns the club, and so it's just like weird. Bo and Maggie get matched, obviously under different usernames. They don't know who each other are. They meet and it's a whole thing. I explained this terribly, but I really enjoyed the book. It was a lot of fun. fun but also kind of serious at times, and it was just written well. I don't know, like, this is why I'm really bad at giving book reviews. I just liked it because I did, and do you have a problem with that? I hope not. Let's move on. Highest bidder. Next book in the series. I think this is the most recent release. The next one is called Madame. I have no idea when it's coming out. I didn't like this book as much as Mercy, because how could you when Mercy is so good? But this one wasn't as bad. It just wasn't memorable. I think this is the biggest age gap romance that I've ever read. I think it's like 35 years. I read forbidden shit, and like I can deal with 35 years like in the moment when I'm reading it, but then when you deep it, it's just a bit like, ooh. The guy's called Roman or Ronan. The girl, I have no idea what she's called, but basically the girl works at the Salacious Players Club and the guy frequents Salacious Players, right? You know, like when you might do like a bid to go on a date, he partakes in that. The girl who's working at this club, she's like a waitress, and she's having a bet with the bartender that this guy's gonna bet on this girl for like a lot of money, and then if he doesn't do that, the girl is gonna have to go and auction herself off for a date. Do you see where this is going? She loses the bet and he is the highest bidder for her. I'm not even going to go into any more detail. Okay, I'm actually very excited to talk about this next book because it is Guilt by Geneva Lee. I actually have already spoken about this book. I spoke about it in my last video, my official book recommendations. It's literally just a romance book, but it has like a lot of plot in it. Very much like Pretty Little Liars plot, and it's very good. Some people call this YA, some people don't. It is kind of YA, but also I usually hate YA. I love this book. It just worked for me. Honestly, go into this book blind. You should look up content warnings for every single book that I ever talk about. I want you to go into this book blind, but obviously look up content warnings beforehand and not the plot. So literally on the back there isn't even a blurb. It just says money, gossip, murder, welcome to my world. That's all you need to know. There is money, there is gossip, and there is murder. This is single POV, but it is in first person. There is a romance at the center of this book, and it is very prominent from the beginning and throughout. However, so is like this murder mystery plot line that we've got going on. That's also basically the entire book, but it's so good. It's nothing groundbreaking and it's nothing like exceptional. It just worked for me personally, and it's right up my street. Next I have Sabotage by Chantal Tessier. I don't remember a lot about this book, but I remember I had so much fun. I think I only gave it 3 stars, but it's like one of those 3 stars where it's like it was just a fun time. I just had so much fun reading it. It was so enjoyable. I am going to directly read what I wrote down for this because I don't really remember that much of it. Okay, here's the thing. It's a very toxic step-sibling dark romance. So we're following Colton and Rayleigh. They both absolutely cannot stand each other. I don't think you understand, like, they hate each other. I'm talking like she sets fire to his car type of hatred. But they also, especially Colton, he can't let Rayleigh be with other people. It's like very possessive. It's really possessive. It's really toxic. It's really bad, but it's so good. I honestly had no idea where this plot was going. It was a wild ride. Just put it this way, this book is a wild ride. If you are just like bored, if you're in a reading slump, if you're in a rut and you just need something a bit outrageous, a bit stupid. I didn't realise this. This book is technically a standalone, but it takes place in the same universe as, you know, The Ritual. I don't know what other books are in that series, but like Chantal Tessier's got a series, and the first book I think is called The Ritual. It takes place in the same universe, and there is like a whole like side plot which I believe follows one of the characters from that series, but I didn't realise because I haven't read that series. I didn't know. I thought it was just a standalone. So if you're one of those people who likes to read universes in order, maybe read that series before you read this one. The next book I read was Mile High by Liz Tomford. I will be so 100% transparent with you all. I read this because I wanted to get to The Right Move, and I haven't even read The Right Move yet. It's about a hockey player and a flight attendant who works exclusively with this ice hockey team on their private jet, taking them to away games. So they spend a lot of time together. The guy in this book is called Xanders. He like always is really like annoying with this flight attendant. He makes her do the most like mundane and stupid tasks that he could easily do himself. One of the like rules with this, which you can obviously, I'm sure you can assume, is that the flight attendants and just everyone basically working with the team, there's no fraternization that should be going on, which adds like a layer of forbiddenness to this. Very vanilla forbiddenness, but like it's there. It's like something that's stopping them from ultimately being together. That's all I have to say about this book. Like, it was fine. Okay, now you probably just noticed because I took books out of here. I then read The Predator and The Reaper by Runix. I've actually read all 5 of these books in this series, but I'm not going to talk about these books because I read them all in September, but I read these 2 books in August. So we're going to talk about these, and to be honest, we're only going to talk about The Predator because both of these books, The Predator and The Reaper, follow the same couple. Book 2, The Reaper, picks up straight after The Predator finishes. You have to read these in order. You have to read the series in order. Even though the other books in the series do follow different couples, you need to read it in order because there's like a whole overarching plot line that's going on. Okay, just trust me with it. It's a mafia romance. It's enemies to lovers. Oh my god, it's just everything. I just really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. Basically, right at the beginning of this book, the girl Marana. This is in third person, by the way. I feel like I need to mention it, but I'm sure you already know because everyone always talks about how this series is in third person. Marana finds out that her codes have been stolen. What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. I'm not tech savvy. In my head, I'm just imagining like this like Microsoft Word document of coding. Just retype it. Just like go get it. It took her ages to write the codes. That's why she can't retype it. But like, I don't know, like with it all being like electronic and shit, I'm just like, go like make it again. Go in the recycle bin. She says that she's done this thing with the codes that like if they ever get used, she'll know about it because she put like a self-destruct command inside of it. What the is the point of the code? Everything about this storyline just like went over my head. It's too smart for me. I bet like other people like got it instantly. I'm like not the brightest tool in the box. I'm gonna be so honest right now. She thinks that Tristan Cade has stolen her codes, and so she's gonna infiltrate his territory and basically try to like threaten his life so that he gives back her codes. And so she goes and does that. This is right at the beginning of the book, by the way. This isn't like giving shit away. She's like got a knife, I think, or a gun, I don't know. She's like got a weapon and he basically like disarms her. He's like, A, I did not steal your code. I think it's very weird that you think that it's me. Why do you assume it's me? And B, now that you've threatened my life and attempted to take it, I'm gonna hold your life over your head. No one in this mafia universe gets to kill you apart from me when I'm ready. And it's a whole moment from there. The next book, guys. I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing right now. I don't know if you can read what it says right here, but it says Tom and College. Obviously that means that I finally finished Redeeming Zeke by Chloe Walsh. Book 4 in the Boys of Tobin series, the second book following Joey and Aoife. It took me a long time. It took me weeks to finish this book because look at how long it is. I read this book on my phone, 900 pages. And you know what? I would read another 900 pages about Joey and Aoife. I would. These two characters are probably my favourite people that I've ever read about in a book, and that's saying a lot. This isn't my favourite book of all time. Neither is Saving Six, but they're up there. Top 10 for sure, maybe even top 5 if you think about it. But Joey and Aoife just as characters and as a couple, favourite of all time. I think it's because you obviously, hello, look at how long it is. You spend so much time with them. You spend so much time with them as individuals and as a couple, and so you fall in love with like basically all three parties, Joey, Aoife and Joey, Aoife. You feel like you know them. I can't explain it. You have to read it to get it, and it's like the best feeling. Also, along with that, these two, if you don't know Joey and Aoife, they've known each other since like when they were like 10 years old. By the end of this book, they're like 18, 19-ish. They've always had a connection right from the beginning that's like pulled them together. They've always been in each other's minds and circles, and so you just seeing them and how they've interacted over the years, it's insane. You can't not feel connected and attached to these characters, and it just makes the love story so much more epic and so much more like all-consuming and passionate. And that's what I love about reading romance. All-consuming love is like low-key very toxic, but that's what I love reading about it. It was painful, it was heartbreaking, it was healing, it was everything. It was everything that I needed this book to be. It was. Okay guys, we finally made it. We have made it. This is the final book I read in August. It's called His Deathbringer and it's by Courtney W. Dixon. I basically read this book because it's short and I wanted an dark romance. Right at the beginning of the book, where in the POV of Dante, he has been sent on a mission to basically invade this mansion and kill like 21 men. Accounts to like everyone who should be inside this mansion. So he's doing all of that. He's killed like most of them. I think he's got like 3 men left to kill. So he's like going upstairs looking all the rooms, and he ends up walking into like a bedroom that's decorated as a child's bedroom. That was not on his assignment. He knows which 3 men he has left to kill, and they're all like old men, so him seeing this bedroom is very odd to him. Anyways, he goes inside and sat on the bed is this man, and he's like shaking and it's weird. So like, should he kill him or not? He ends up not killing him. He goes into the next room and kills the 3 people that he like knew he needed to kill. He lives life, right? And so he does his mission, he completes his assignment. He's going back to his car, and this guy that he like spared the life of is like following him, and he's like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? Go the fuck home. It's a dark romance, look up the trigger warnings. He's called Luca. He lets Luca like stay with him for a couple days, and a romance forms from there. Here's the thing, there's a lot more that happens in this book. I just want to give you like cliff notes from the beginning, but a lot more happens. Here's my thing. I knew what I was getting into going into this book. It was fine. The one thing that I like kind of didn't like about this book is Luca, who is the guy that was like saved from this mansion. When we're in his POV and he's talking about Dante, and he's talking about how basically he's like in in love with Dante because he's almost like his angel who saved him from like all the torture that he's just been through. He talks about Dante in a way that's like I love him, I'm gonna make him love me the way that I love him, we're meant to be together. I don't know how to describe it, it just didn't sit right with me. It's a very short book, but like a lot happens, it's very plot focused, and so by the end I enjoyed it and I got it and I liked it. Anyways, that's everything. You have been caught up on the last 2 months of my reading life. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below if you've read any of the books that I've talked about, or if you want to, if they're on your TBR, give me some recs, whatever the fuck you want to do. I will see you probably at the end of the month. Don't quote me on it, it might be the end of the month after, at the end of October. I'll see you later. Anyways, goodbye, peace out.